Hi guys, welcome back to We Fight Fat. I'm Dan Dos Santos. This is going to be a continuation of the home workout series. The first video was back and biceps. This is going to be shoulders, chest and triceps. We're going to be using all household items again, and I got some feedback from the last video that some of the exercises were too challenging, which actually gave me an idea to give you a easier version and a harder version for each exercise. So we're going to get right into it. What you're going to need is a chair or some kind of platform. You can use a sofa, which is actually to this side of my room. You might be able to see that in the camera shot. So anything where you can elevate your feet will work. You can use a bench in a gym. The next thing you will need is some kind of rod or bar or mop. A mop works, so I'm using a mop myself. You can use a long solid stick, but it needs to be thick enough and durable enough that it doesn't snap or anything like that. And then finally, you're going to need a bag, which we're going to thread the bar or mop through like that, and that's going to be for the final exercise. So the first exercise is going to work primarily the front part of our delts, the anterior deltoid. It's going to work slightly the upper chest, so this part, and it's also going to work our triceps. First I'm going to show you the easy version, and then I'm going to show you the harder version. So the easier version is going to look something like this. What you want to do is get into a push-up position, and then you want to walk your feet closer up, and you want to invert your body like this. And then from here, you want to go down and breathe in, and then breathe out and come up. Breathe in, and breathe out and come up. And that is the easy version. That is the Pike push-up. The harder version is going to be with the legs, with the feet elevated. So same thing. What I would advise is, if you're using a chair, make sure your feet are under the chair first so that you know where the line is. Then put your feet on the chair, and from here you want to invert your body. Come down and breathe in. Breathe out and come up. Come down and breathe in. Breathe out and come up. That is the harder version. Just like the back and bicep video, we're going to be doing this in the first week. We're going to be doing 3 sets, stopping 3 reps from failure. And then as the weeks go on, we're going to be adding sets and reps to the workout to make it harder. I'm going to put all the detail in the description box, but I won't go all through that now and bore you with that detail. I'm just going to show you the exercises. So what you might want to do before you do any of these exercises, not what you might want to do, what you should do is warm up. So to warm up, I'd recommend just some normal push-ups, and maybe roll out your wrists as well, just because you might get some tension in your wrists from holding them, doing your push-ups on your palms. You can do them like that on your fists, but they'll be harder, and that's if you get too much tension on your wrists from doing them. So like I said, it's going to be 3 sets on the first exercise in week 1, and you're going to stop 3 reps from failure. What does that mean? That means you do so many reps, and then you judge for yourself how many reps you've got left until you get to technical failure. Technical failure is basically when you can't do any more perfect reps. So if your body starts losing its positioning, if you can't get the rep perfectly, if you can't fully lock out or fully go down, then you're at failure. But what you want to do is stop about 3 reps before that in week 1, and then as the weeks go on, what will happen is the reps from failure will come down. You're going to get closer to failure as the program goes on. And you're also going to be adding sets, and of course you're also going to be adding reps, which you can track yourselves. And to track the reps, all you need to do is write the number down and use a comma to separate. So what I want you to do is track your reps after each set. Don't wait until the end of the exercise. Make sure you do your first set, write down your reps, comma, second set, etc. That is the first exercise out the way. The next exercise is going to be the normal push-up. So, like everything, I'm going to show you a harder version and an easier version. The easier version first is going to be working most of the entire chest, maybe with a slight emphasis on the lower pecs, just because of when you start a push-up, you are in your hands are kind of in this almost like a decline pressed position. They're not completely straight, they're kind of down slightly, but obviously as you go down, your body almost does this. It does this like a lever. So the angle kind of changes, and at the bottom of the position you're kind of hitting your entire chest because you're kind of in a flat position with the floor, and then as you come up right at the top, you're going to be hitting more of your lower chest. It's also going to be working your front delts again, and it's going to be working your triceps. So I'm sure you all know how to do a full push-up, but what I would recommend is having your hands about just wider than shoulder width apart. Make sure your palms are underneath your shoulders, and then come down, touch your chest to the floor, and come up. Make sure you breathe in when you go down, breathe out as you come up. That's how you do the normal push-up. And then the harder version is going to be using the chair again. This is going to be working more of the upper chest, and then at the bottom of the movement you are going to involve the full chest. But as I said, it's going to be working the upper chest primarily when you have your feet raised. What you can do is on this exercise, if you want some upper chest and lower chest involvement, I would advise doing maybe 1 or 2 sets on the harder version, if you can do both versions, and then maybe 1 set or 2 sets on the easier version. So depending on what you want, if you want more upper chest or want more lower chest, if you want more lower chest, do the normal push-up. If you want more upper chest, do the decline push-up, which is with your legs elevated. Now I'm going to demonstrate the form. So it's very similar to the normal push-up. Get into that same positioning, but just raise your feet onto the chair, and with this you want to stop when your nose touches the floor and then come up. That is the decline push-up. This is going to be the same sets, same number of sets as the first exercise, which is 3 sets. That's exercise number 2 in the bag. Now we've got 1 more exercise to go into, and this is where the mop comes in, or the bar. You can use obviously a solid wooden stick. You can even use like a metal bar if you have one, just, you know, laying around your house, maybe in your garage or something. But I feel like everyone's got a mop, right? So, or you can even use a broom, right? But what we're going to be doing is, throughout the plan, to account for people using mops and brooms and things like that, this obviously isn't evenly balanced. You've got more weight at this end because the mop's at this end. So every set that we do, we're going to swap the mop around. I think my light's okay. So yeah, we're going to swap the mop around every set that we do, so that the counterbalance changes sides, and so we work each side evenly. Okay, so what you want to do is get your rucksack or your bag, fill it with a certain amount of weight. The right amount of weight you might have to test out, but it will be roughly the same, if not maybe a little bit more to what you can curl. So put it in the bag, and if you can do 5 to 10 curls with it, actually I would say about 8 to 12 curls, 8 to 12 curls with it, then it's probably a good amount of weight to use on the tricep exercise. What you're going to do from here, try not to bust your light like I did, but you're going to turn it round so that you're holding it like this. What you want to do from here is take a stance about shoulder width apart, keep your elbows pointed forward, and try not to move your upper arms. All that's going to be moving is your lower part of your arms, and I'll just go at an angle here. You're going to extend right up to the top, and then you're going to come all the way back down, and then just extend right up to the top. Breathe in as you come down, breathe out as you go up. And on this exercise, like I said, we're going to always be doing even numbers. You'll see how the progression works in the description. But the first set, I did it this way, so that means the second set, I pull this out, change it round, so that my arms get equal work, because we don't want to create imbalances. So the second set would look like that. Same form. And notice I'm trying to keep my elbows in exactly the same position each time. Those are the 3 exercises. With this final exercise, to make it harder / easier, all you need to do is modify the weight. So maybe do a few reps just before you do your working sets, just to feel out the weight. And what you want to be doing is, on the first 2 movements, you should be getting at least 5 reps. But on that movement, you should be at least getting about 8 reps. And that is just to judge how heavy the weight should be. So if you can't get 8 reps easily, especially on week 1, you should really be using a weight that you can do for about 10 to 12 reps quite easily. And that will be your working weight. And what you can do, as I said, as the program goes on, you're going to be getting closer and closer to failure. You're also going to be adding sets. Your reps are also going to be going up, because you should be tracking those yourself. But what you can also do on this final exercise is you can add weight. So you add more weight. If you've got an old-fashioned scale, not a digital scale, an old-fashioned scale, you can just put obviously anything on the scale and it will show you the weight. The new scales, like the digital scales, they actually detect your feet being on them, a lot of them, so you actually have to be a person, because I tried to do this myself. But if you do have an old-fashioned scale, then you can weigh what you're lifting. If not, just keep track. So I've got a bunch of books right here. What I would do is probably put one book in, maybe write down what the name of the book is, and then put a second book in if I want to make it heavier, and you get the idea. Just keep track of what you're actually lifting, so you know that it's going to be more and more difficult. Your body doesn't really care about numbers, it just cares about the stimulus it's getting. So you can use book names rather than the amount of kilograms. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you're making progression over time and you're keeping the right amount of difficulty for your body. The final tip I'm going to give you on the second exercise, like I said, you've kind of got a number of options here. You've got the easier and harder version. If you can do both, you can mix and match them in your sets if you want to distribute the work on your chest evenly. But what you can also do, if you only want to do a particular version, especially if you want to do the easier version because you want more lower chest and full chest development rather than upper chest, then you can just add weight to the rucksack and put the rucksack on, and then do push-ups with the rucksack on your back. Better yet, if you have dumbbells, obviously you probably wouldn't need to use the mop if you have dumbbells on the last exercise, the mop and the rucksack, and you could probably do overhead dumbbell extension. But what you can also do is you can put a dumbbell in the bag, and that's what I actually do myself for weighted push-ups. Finally, what I want you to do is do this workout twice a week with at least 1 to 3 days rest in between each workout. You can put this back to back with video number 1, which I'll link in the description box as well, which is the back and bicep workout at home. So what you could do is you could do your back and biceps, then you could do your shoulders, chest and triceps, and then stay tuned for video number 3, which is going to be the lower body, okay? So, and it's going to be using, again, household items. This is for all those people that still don't have a gym open, don't really have any equipment, but I want to show you that's absolutely no excuse. If you want to get in good shape, or if you were in good shape and you're now in bad shape, not having a gym, not having equipment just isn't a good enough excuse to me. You don't even need to use the chair or the mop and the bag. You can still do certain exercises just with your body weight, but I wanted to show you how you can use household items to help. This has been the video. I'm Dan Dos Santos. We are We Fight Fat. Please leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel and share with anyone else you think will enjoy this content, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks.